Hello and welcome to this overview of the AI Essentials for MBA students. So in this course, we will teach you the AI essentials you need to know as an MBA student. And what we're going to talk about in this lecture is two things. One, what are these AI essentials that you need to learn for the AI era MBA education? And how can you learn these AI essentials? Because we won't be able to teach you all of them. So whatever overall view we'll give, what are the remaining things that you need to learn and how can you learn is what we will talk about in this lecture. So how do you think you can do that? How can you learn about AI? What are the things that you need to learn? Let's start by understanding that in AI era, MBA is not about becoming a programmer, right? Some of you may be coming from that background of a coding or a programming. But it's not about that. It's about becoming what is called an AI augmented decision maker. A decision maker, a management decision maker who is augmented by AI. And how to do that? What's a structured framework that you can look into and integrate into your MBA course? Let's take a look at that. So first, let's understand what are the AI essentials that an MBA student need, right? And we will structure these into 5 layers. What are these 5 layers? Let's take a look at one by one. So first layer is about AI literacy, the foundation layer. Every MBA students must understand what is AI, machine learning, and generative AI from a point of view of an MBA student, not a technology student. Also, then, from their own perspective, they need to understand what AI can do and cannot do, what is automation versus augmentation in the context of AI, and how to use data as a strategic asset. And look at all the risks like bias, hallucination, and privacy that are there in dealing with AI. And the whole goal is to move from the fear of AI to strategic clarity about AI. What you don't need to do is to learn about coding, right? Relearn about coding if you don't know, and understand in depth the neural networks. That's not part of your work. And also don't need to understand the algorithmic mathematics. What you need to understand is the business interpretation of these. You need to develop that ability to interpret these into business, benefits. One another thing that you need to learn is, AI for decision making. How to use AI for decision making, and that you can call as a core MBA skill. Every MBA students must learn how to use AI for structured problem solving, how to use AI for SWOT analysis, for scenario planning, for financial modeling support, for market research synthesis, and for competitive analysis, and many more things. The essential skill that you need to develop regarding AI is of writing high quality prompts that generate structured business insights. So that's what you need to learn about AI for decision making. Third strategic capability you need to develop is about understanding, data thinking. And in that, what you need to do is to understand data interpretation basics. How do you interpret basically data? How to design the KPIs? What is the logic of dashboards and how do you design dashboards? What is correlation versus causation and how to use both of them? And how to use AI for data patterns, by understanding how AI uses data patterns. And you don't need to worry about learning advanced statistics, but you need to learn how to ask the right data questions, right? So that's what you need to learn about data thinking as a strategic capability. Then also you need to understand that AI era MBA, as an AI era MBA, you should know how AI impacts across business functions. How does it affect marketing in terms of personalization, customer segmentation, predictive analytics, to name a few? How does it impact finance in terms of finance forecasting support, risk modeling, and fraud detection basics? And also operations. How does it affect operations in terms of demand planning, process automation, supply chain optimization? Similarly for HR, in terms of talent analytics, performance insights, and how to use AI in recruitment. And lastly, and most important is how does it impact strategy in terms of using AI for competitive intelligence, market scanning, and scenario modeling. So you should be able to understand and you should know how AI can impact across these functions. Also, the critical component of learning AI for an MBA is to understand how to lead AI augmented teams, how to use human judgment versus AI recommendation. After looking at AI recommendation, whether to decide to use it as it is, to modify or completely reject it, that kind of human judgment you will need to make. Also, whether AI's recommendations are ethical and are you using AI ethically. Also, accountability in AI decisions. Who is accountable for the decisions that AI is recommending or making with your health? And finally, what are the governance issues? Awareness of that. Because finally, you must know that you as a manager will remain accountable for whatever you do with AI or without AI, right? So let's summarize. In terms of AI era MBA essentials, you need AI literacy, you need AI assisted decision making, you need data thinking, functional AI, and AI leadership and ethics. So these are five core things that you need to do. Now the question is, how would you learn these AI essentials? Any thoughts? Start by learning them as a tool, not a subject. Spend 2 to 3 weeks, understand AI fundamentals, you know, uh, conceptually, and practice daily prompt writing because prompt writing is one of the key skills you need to develop. And use AI for case study analysis as you do, and develop a daily habit of asking AI to analyze one business problem. So start using AI as a tool. Don't learn as a management subject. Second thing is to start applying AI for an MBA subject, as we were saying. While studying, if there's a marketing case, ask AI for segmentation idea. If there's a finance case, ask AI for risk scenarios. And if there's a strategy case, ask AI for competitor mapping. So there may start making AI your thinking partner. The third thing you can do to learn these essential is, do AI augmented mini projects. And examples of such mini projects are like AI based market entry analysis, AI generated customer personas for refinement, AI assisted financial sensitivity analysis, and AI driven SWOT with human correction. And as you keep doing these projects, you will build a portfolio that will add a lot more to only the theoretical knowledge that you would have about AI. Also, learn basic analytic tools. MBA students, as in MBA state, you should learn at least one, either Excel in advance for analytics, or Power BI basics, or Tableau basics, or AI powered data tools. Not coding, just interpretation of these, right? So learn basic analytics tools like this. Also build AI decision framework to learn about these AI essentials. Start building such AI decision framework for every decision that you start making there. Ask, what does data say? What does AI suggest? What does human judgment say? And where should we override AI? And that's AI era leadership, right? So what having looked at what should you do to learn those five essential, what should you not do? Let's take a look at them also. First, blindly copy AI answer. That's a suicide. That's a waste of time. Over dependence on automation. If you completely automate everything that you do, but you don't oversee it, it's going to be a disaster someday. Also, ignore critical thinking. Don't take AI's word for it as the final truth. Apply your mind and chase every AI tool. Don't try and chase every AI tool. Select a few and work on them. Remember that MBA is about judgment, where AI can multiply that your judgment if you do the right things. So, what differentiates AI era MBA versus the traditional MBA? Traditional MBA teaches you theory, right? Along with cases, sure enough. But AI era MBA teaches you AI augmented decision making, and this is a powerful differentiation for you. So, doesn't it make sense to learn about these AI essentials if you're doing MBA? Surely it does. So, thank you so much for watching this overview case. I hope you're continuing to learn new things, continuing to enjoy, and I do look forward to see you again in the next lecture. Please feel free to message me if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer your questions, and do download the PDF file to take a look at anything that you need to.